After the Israelites escaped from slavery in Egypt and crossed the Red Sea, they entered the vast and barren wilderness. At first, they traveled with excitement, believing they were finally free, but as days passed, the harsh desert tested their spirits. Food grew scarce, their stomachs ached with hunger, and fear began to spread through the camp. They remembered the meals they had eaten in Egypt, even as slaves, and they cried out to Moses, asking why they had been brought into the wilderness to die. Moses listened to their complaints and brought them before God. Instead of rebuking the people, God responded with compassion and promised to provide food for them in a miraculous way. Moses gathered the people and told them that they would see the Lord's provision at sunrise. That night, the camp rested with uncertainty, wondering what God could possibly do in such an empty place. When morning came, the ground glistened with a thin, white layer covering the desert floor. The Israelites stared in confusion. They looked at one another and asked, "What is it?" Moses explained that this was the bread God had given them to eat. When they gathered it in their hands, it looked like small flakes and tasted like wafers made with honey. It was simple but sweet, a gentle reminder that God cared for them even in the wilderness. God instructed them to gather only what each family needed for the day. Some obeyed, but others gathered more, hoping to store it for the next morning. However, when they tried to keep it overnight, the manna spoiled and became full of worms. This taught the people to trust God daily instead of relying on their own fears. On the sixth day, God commanded them to gather twice as much so that they could rest on the Sabbath. This time, the manna they saved for the Sabbath did not spoil. Day after day, year after year, the manna continued to fall, faithfully reminding the Israelites that God was with them in every step of their journey. For 40 years, until they reached the Promised Land, the manna appeared each morning. It became a symbol of God's constant provision, His patience, and His desire to teach His people to depend on Him one day at a time. Bible reference, Exodus 16.